we are happy to be here today. And before going into the topic of we become the product of our tools, which is a little bit different than the one that you were expecting, or in a different, let's say, wording, finding the balance between human and bot interaction, let's first start with a short round of introduction. So I will let my colleague start. Technology. Yeah.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Andrea. I'm Alex. I'm part of ING Hub as of May last year. I work in the analytics area. I'm acting as the product owner for scaling chatbots for all the retail countries. I work with analytics in the previous experience in other banks, if I can say so, but not targeted to analytics. I do analytics, but I didn't know that I do analytics because we saw the data for our customers and we daily run it and see how I actually interact. But now I'm directly involved in, let's say, how ING Hubs to like to say data-driven company.
And I'm Andreea. I am the IT area lead for analytics in Hubs Romania, and I also have an additional role, which is the single point of contact for analytics for all hubs, regardless of the location. I have more than 13 years experience in analytics. I joined ING in 2019, starting with a small team of 4 people. And now I can proudly say that the area really grew in Romania, becoming around 45 people. Why we are here? So today we are here for you to see why we consider that each of us can really influence and can contribute to the customer experience, and this being done through technology. We will spend the next almost 1 hour together. The presentation has 3 major points: customer experience and how the role of customer experience is in the organization. The second one is related to how we in ING shift and change our customer support strategy. And last but not least, of course, the topic of chatbot and building chatbots in ING. The first 2 topics will be covered by me. The last one will be covered by Alex, and we will try to make sure that the last 10 minutes are open for questions and answers. That being said, are we ready to kick it off? Yes? Yeah, thank you. Customer experience. So customer experience is a very old concept. We all know about it. If we don't know about it, we really experience it in our day-to-day life. But making a very good customer experience means 3 things. The first one is related to customer centricity. The second one is related to having a strategy. And last but not least, the third one is related to integrated experience. Customer centricity, meaning understanding the customer, making everything that you build in the company in line with what the customer really needs. The second one is related to having a strategy. And I'm not saying that just having it on paper, that is a first start, but then you also need to make sure that everyone in the organization really knows and really understands what customer experience do we as an organization want to create for our customers, and also to make sure that everyone has this mind shift in their day-to-day work. And integrated experience, we all see here, we have a lot of touch points, even more adding up, which means that we really need to make sure that we have a coherent customer experience throughout the touch points. That meaning that technology needs to jump in, otherwise you cannot do it only with people. And you would have expected that customer experience being done by so many years, it's reaching the top of the iceberg. But the reality is that after the pandemic, customer experience really dropped. And this is how do we feel as a consumer. And this is happening, first of all, due to complexity, the environment and the number of touch points that I was mentioning. And the other one is related to the customer needs and evolving of the customer needs. And here you also see the pyramid of the needs, everything that relies at the basis of our expectations. The first layer is similar to Maslow pyramid, you can easily see it, is about having the information that you can use. The second one is about solving your problem when I ask you for it. The third layer is resolving my needs whenever I'm asking you. The fourth one is providing what you need without me asking, so it's the proactivity part, surprise me as a consumer. And the last but not least, let's say the tip of the iceberg, is making me feel powerful, safer, or better. That is, let's say, the ultimate state of customer experience. But if you look at the third layer, which is an average customer experience, not that good, not that bad, so being able to solve my problems, you see why we are saying that we become the product of our tools. We are, in our day-to-day life, often feed with information quite easily. We have digital, we have mobiles, so it's really fast. We are, let's say, at a click away point in being in contact with everyone everywhere. Therefore, our expectations as consumers, as studies show, is about having the expectation that in less than 5 minutes, you will be able to solve my problem. And this is easy to be done if you have technology. Otherwise, it's quite hard, in my opinion. And technology nowadays is about creating the entire framework behind it. So basically, it's not only about, I don't know, years ago having one database and one interface and that was it. Now it's about having platforms, having CRMs, having conversational AI platforms, having contact center support platforms, and also other digital platforms that need all to be integrated quite well all together, making that seamless, let's say, experience that I was talking about. And how do we at ING approach it? The entire, let's say, customer support part. So we are now in a transition, to be honest. We are moving from a bank with digital offerings towards a mobile bank leveraging on the human interaction. It sounds fancy, but what do we want to achieve by that? So it's about having mobile as our core and main channel for everything related to customer support. This is because customers really want to do and is the preferred channel, and it's also in line with what I was saying about we become the product of our tools. So basically, the phone is everywhere. This is reality, even in places and moments that it shouldn't be, but it is. And for this, we need, let's say, a strategy, which means for advisory, we will use video and humans, because there you deal with more complex situation, more empathy is needed, more understanding on the context is needed. And on the part related to support, let's say, requests that are easily to be dealt with, we will use chatbot and chat as a channel. We are doing this using the products from Google, the conversational AI platform. And yeah, it sounds like an easy job. Yeah, we have the customer, we have the application, we have the chatbot. Easy peasy, we integrate it. Also, if we look at the fact that how Google creates the product, the conversational AI platform is quite easily to be integrated with your front end, back end, only with APIs, everything happens quite fast and easy to be done, especially when we also have, let's say, the strategy in mind also on the Google side on the platform. Things should be quite easy to be achieved. But that's the reality, not that easy. And why is that? Yeah, you cannot understand anything from this spaghetti, but the main idea behind it is that in reality, implementing is not that easy. And not because the product is not good, and not because we are, let's say, not doing it right. It's because of actually two things there. One is related to the complexity of our own product and environment and context. We are working in a bank, we are heavily regulated, we need to make sure that we are also able to answer all the requests and all the things related to our portfolio, which is a diverse one. And the second one is related to customer experience and the fact that we want to make sure that we are relevant for our customers. And to tell you, let's say, something that happened to me a week ago, and I know that it sounds like invented but is not. I had a conversation with a friend, and we were talking about this conference and what I'm going to present, talking about chatbots in general, and at a certain point, I was somehow complaining about the quality of the chatbots, that they are not that good. They are not at the level that I would like them to be. And he was disagreeing and saying that, yeah, but it's also about how do you ask the questions. If you ask the correct question, then it will provide you the correct answer. But I was not happy with that. I didn't know at that moment why, but I was not happy with what he was saying, because for me as a consumer, I don't want to change the way I'm thinking, the way I'm acting, the way I'm speaking, just for a bot to solve my problem. My expectation is for the company to do that without me changing my idea. And then I realized that if I would change it, then all the products will be done in that way. And we set a standard. And in reality, this is why and how I came up with the idea that we become the product of our tools. And it is very important for all of us to know it and to know that we can change it, because in the other, let's say, perspectives in which we are the developers, the contributors to projects and developments, this is how we can influence it, because we are the consumers in the end. And to add even more to the complexity that I was talking about, we have also different bots in mind. We have information bots that we develop, servicing, sales, and advisory. The last one is the only one which is still not developed in ING, but it is in our strategy. And let's see a little bit what I'm mentioning about it. So information bots, the easiest one, the one that you can easily reach. It will offer you replies to very easy questions, generic ones. You don't need any login for it. Examples of this kind of request can be, how can I block my card? How can I have a joint account? Generic things. You don't need to understand the context of the customer. The servicing bot, it's a little bit more complex. So basically here you really need to understand the information behind it. What is happening? What are the transactions? What is the entire, let's say, behavior of the customer in order to be able to give the relevant question, such as checking balances, monitoring credit cards, loans, payments, and so on. Sales bot is the one that can be used at this moment for us in a, let's say, limited way, because we have products which are really complex, so we can use it for straight-through processes and, I don't know, opening accounts, which is not necessarily a heavy process, or for lead generation. But usually, at a certain point, we will also need to incorporate humans in the process, as the products are quite complex. And last but not least, the advisory bot, the one that I mentioned that is still not yet developed in ING, but we have it in our strategy. Here you can see an example from Erica, Bank of America, who teaches customers on how to change their behavior and their way of looking at their products in order to save money for different purposes. And that's about it for the, let's say, first two topics. The third one that I was mentioning, it's about developing and creating the bot in our framework. And I will give the, let's say, the floor to Alex. I don't know if it works, but
hopefully.
Let's see.
Thank you, Andrea. We saw in the back our strategy. We saw what are, let's say, our goals in the next period also, and what we're having in our environment. And I'm seeing our environment, I'm referring here of ING as an entire landscape worldwide, because our presence in ING is in, let's say, a lot of countries in this moment as a retail countries. So we scale up the products as much as we can. We see the strategy now. I think it's a very good moment to see how we actually build this kind of chatbots, because I think all of us at some point, we got this feeling of having support from a provider, from an e-commerce platform, for a fashion platform, you name it. You call it, nobody responded, then you log into the app or to the website, chatting, waiting, nobody's there, then at some point he gives you a response, you're not satisfied, you write it again, the entire life cycle. By the way, you saw the spaghetti that Andrea presented earlier. Actually, the complexity as a third point over there is that the fact we want to address all the topics that the customer at some point can ask us in a conversation. So being humans and having an enriched, let's say, vocabulary, they can ask everything. So we should be prepared for everything to answer in that direction. What is, let's say, our ground truth, if I can say so? What is the starting point for us when we start building this kind of approach with the chatbots? First of all, I think is the key for each product that a financial company, insurance company, you name it, the activity they should have in the mind when they actually start designing that, is to understand what are their target customers, what is the portfolio in that moment, and what exactly is the potential for them in order to scale and sell more and more products. Understand the customer. You have a couple of things that you should follow, for sure, starting with the age, with the job, with the education that they have, with the relation that they have with technologies, and also with the culture. Why I'm saying that? We see different cultures in the approach where they have in the chatbots. Some countries, the customers from some specific countries, let's say, are more engaged to discuss with the bot. Yeah, we are make them aware they are discussing with the bot, and they are very happy with that. We saw some approaches in different countries that they didn't want to hear about the bot. They didn't want to hear about an IVR on the contact center. No, they want the people to discuss with people, and it's understandable. Maybe they have complex problems. Who knows? Continue in the starting point. You should select or to define what is the level of the complexity that you want to bring in your products. When I'm saying the complexity, I'm not referring from development point of view with our system inside, because those are the system, we will have it. I'm referring here on the complexity that we want to bring to the customer from the response point of view. What should I do? I will just give him a short answer that he can go look on the public website and read it? Or should I give him more insights based on his behavior, based on his credentials, based on his historical data? So actually you define the scope for your bot in that particular moment. What we actually do when we start creating a personality of the bot. Why it's important to have a personality? I think it's extremely clear that us as a people, we should feel extremely confident and sure that when we speak with the bot, it's actually, let's say, a human behind, which is, let's say, learn to provide some answers. But at the end, we know for sure that it's a bot. So it's a tight connection between having a machine who responds to some specific questions and a human behind. The personality, well, when you actually interact with the bot, it's like I'm going to a branch in a bank and I'm speaking with the first line of defense, which is the branch manager or the relationship manager. This is my first interaction. Also for the bot, it's also having the same role because I'm entering, let's say, in an app, and who's the person who I'm speaking when I'm trying to chat? It's a bot. So that's why what he will bring as responses to the customers must be reflecting in our tone of voice, our tone of responses that we gradually have it as a company, as a brand inside the organization. They should have a, let's say, compliance mindset when we're creating the bot in order to reflect and respect all the points that are related to the regulations, to the products that we're having. Why we are doing that? I think it's clear, it's about customer satisfaction, and not only. But the customer satisfaction is the point that we see having this mindset of creating the personality of a bot help us also to improve ourselves. Why I'm saying that? In your journeys in different products, at the end, you receive, let's say, a feedback survey where you have to score it. I think 90% of the time, if we are satisfied about that particular journey, buying product, you name it, we just skip it. The behavior of us as a customers is to provide the feedback where we are unhappy about something. We know that, we see that, we ask the customers about that, and they provide this response also. But this is also helping for us to improve, other than chatbot's product, our internal or existing products that the customer have it, by seeing those maybe negative responses. Because we will ask them, what about the journey about, I don't know, blocking a credit card with the bot? He will say, not for you guys, you have to reshape it. It's not on you. then we learn it, then we go to other process with the help of the bot, go to the other process, and we improve our journeys. We improve our price, we improve our, you name it. So that's why it's also important to measure this customer satisfaction. Sharing potential. Well, if you are happy with a journey at some point, and you love it to do that, for sure when you meet a friend, you'll tell him, hey, you know, I'm using that app, I'm using that product, I'm using that support channel for that bank. I think it's a really good one, you can try it. Not all the time we are doing this kind of approach, us as a persons, honestly, yeah. So I think we share a lot of other things than sharing some potentials in a, let's say, a bank or a support channel from a bank. But still, we saw that this kind of approach is also applicable for our customers. And we see the reactions of them, and we see that they recommend this kind of approach also for them. Customer-centric approach. Well, we all know that the companies or the brand behind the companies have a great value proposition behind of that. And we saw it also in the brand, we saw it also in the branch, we saw it also in the online channels. But we need to take care about our customers. Also, I'm a customer. I want that a brand who keeps my money to take care of me. I want to feel confident that at each and every point when I'm discussing with them, they are there to respond to me, to help me, to support me with any issue that I have it. So that's why also when we're creating the bot, it's important to have this mindset. Type of personalities which we can address in different moments of the conversation that we're having with our customers. Greeting messages. This is simple. When you're starting a conversation with somebody, you say hello. Hi, Andrea. Hi, I'm Alex. How are you? How do you feel? This is also part of the journey. When you actually start typing in a support, you wait a response. But if you receive a response who will say, hi, Alex, nice to see you, nice to meet you, you got this maybe small or medium, depends of each person, confidence that even if you know that it's a bot behind of that, it's a bot that is personalized for you. And we measure and we ask our customers, because we are the data-driven company, if this is important, it's one of the points that help us in building this journey effectively. Error messages. It's possible to receive an error message when you're making a payment or when you want to log into the app. It's also possible to receive an error message when you want to chat with us and receive some support. If you will see a message like 404, yeah, we all know what that does mean. It's like, come on, for real? But if you receive a message which is personalized, hey Alex, I'm really, really sorry that you have this issue. We're trying our best to fix your problem. I'm still upset, for sure. This is sure, and all of us, I think, we are still upset. But I'm not that level of upset of calling again the bank or call my RM and go to mark, with 1, the satisfaction score, so on and so forth. This kind of small pieces help us in this journey. Explanation of the services, why it's important. You should tell the customer, hey, you are speaking with the bot, this is a service that he can provide, just to set up expectations. Fallback responses. We try to respond each and every question. Each and every question based on what we train our model to respond. But it's almost impossible to respond all the possible questions that customers enter to the chat and provide a question. I think that person are actually putting questions which are not related to the products, to the bank, or something else. Maybe somebody will enter, and we saw in our data, because we try to learn from the customers, we saw that at some point a customer in a country from Europe says, tell me the score of the game between Real Madrid and Barcelona. No sense, for sure, but you cannot control and influence the customer what to ask. We're free country, free world, So we should be careful how we're making the fallbacks and how go to the customers a response that, come on, I cannot answer to that, but I can hand over to you to a specific agent who can surely help you to find the score. This kind of approach. Exit messages, again, this is another type of how to actually build your personality and influence the messages. There are many of that. We will show you some examples later on when we see also from the journeys how can we trick it. Also small chats. Thank you, happy for being here, see you later. Maybe at some point they're not reflecting somewhere that it's important to have this, but also it's related to the human. When we say goodbye, we say goodbye. We do not finish the sentence, turn the back, and we leave. No, we say goodbye. Now, how we build the brain. We speak about the customer, now we see how the brain works. Well, what we did in our landscape, we go to the customers, of course, because we care and we leverage on our data, and we're trying to see what actually they are asking when they need support from us. We didn't go and say, hey, come on, tell us, what do you want from us? No, we go to, let's say, in the contact center, into the IVR, have some transcripts, and see what exactly they want. What exactly questions they address about what products, what are their intentions, and how they see the fixes for that. This is the first step. When you have this approach of seeing the data, then you start deep diving into the data. You find out what are the patterns. You're trying to find out what are the domains which are more applicable in the customer support. You're trying to find out what are the products which are mostly used in a support channel. Just to give you an example, in the daily banking, in I think each and every country domain, we have around 70% of the chats in the contact center. And also it's valid to the phone call, also to the chats. Yeah? So from the total, let's say, of 10K of data in one day, 70% of them, people are asking about daily banking. I'm referring here about current account, transactions, cards, statements, and the other part of 30% are insurance, mortgages, loans, investment. So this is the main pie that we also see in our customers. We build a taxonomy. Basically, we create a hierarchical structure where we put the intents, the entities, and then we try to organize the data based on that so that we can route properly the customer based on what is his need at that point. Then we start labeling the data. This is, let's say, the preferred, let's say, step or milestone for our colleagues from the contact center because they have the main expertise to understand what the customer wants, and we constantly ask them label for us data. What they do, they actually take utterance by utterance and put a label on that with the intention and the entities that we want to find out, and then to build it inside our routing, so that at the end, if we have this kind of approach, to know where to route the customer and to provide the proper answers for that specific question. We build the model, as also Andrea said, we use conversational AI from Google. We use Dialogflow as a tool to define, and you see the spaghetti, to define the conversations and the routes from the customer, where to go, as much as we can. At some point, if we don't have enough data for a specific request from the customer, then we hand over to them to the agent, and he then will receive support in that area. So we build the model, we train it, we test it, and then we roll out. There are not many steps. There are different layers inside of specific steps, but as a glance, this is how we approach it in the building. Now, let's see some practical examples, what I'm telling for you at the beginning about how to interact from messaging or how to define your conversation with your customers. Welcome messages. As I told you, is the early moment that we interact with our customers. The customer interacts with a bot. Is it extremely important to let him know that behind of that moment that he'll receive support from us, it's a bot inside? They are aware of that, and they are fine that they continue the discussions in that direction. We have a lot of customers who are seeing this message, they drop the conversation. Because their culture, their mindset is not oriented to speak with a bot. They are human-oriented, and they want to receive an answer only from person behind. We can also respond with our agents in the contact center because they also have chatting with our customers. But the layer behind is to have a fast response with a bot. But this is more, how to say it, is more related to how we are embracing our customers, the way of discussing with the bot, or we still need a human behind. There are moments for sure where we're for sure still need a human behind. If we're having some complex issues, because when we're calling the contact center, even if it's a small part, for us it's a extremely or the most complex issue that bank has at that moment, even if it's only related that I cannot use my card, but for us it's the most complex way, I want to respond now, the bot can do that easily and faster than a human agent. Language. In 2 of our countries, the market leaders that we currently have in ING, the customers prefer to discuss in different languages. Just to give an example, in Italy, 99% of the customers want to discuss in Italian with our bot. Because they are mainly Italians, But for example, in the Netherlands, they prefer also to discuss in English, not only in Dutch. There are customers who want to drive the conversations in English, even if they are Dutch people, or if they are expats and they want to chat with us as a support in ING. In the Belgium, I think it's the most complex, let's say, bot in Belgium, because we build it in 3 different languages. And when I'm saying building it, is not like we build it in a language, copy paste, and that's it. No, we build a model for that specific language, because Dutch versus French versus English, from language understanding, they're totally different models. The core is the same, but of understanding that specific language is totally different. So having this approach in some countries can also be very friendly for the customers. In the customer experience, if I can sense of direction, that he gets the opportunity to choose in what language he wants to discuss with the bot. Menu option. How actually is going our journey in this moment in ING, in the conversational path with our customers? We have 2 ways. You start the conversation in a chat window. You have a predefined, let's say, high-level products that you have to pick it up on which topic you want to discuss. And then based on this, it's like a decision tree. Just to give you an example, I have cards, mortgages, loans, investments. I select cards, then another layer is coming back. Debit or credit. I click debit. Block, unblock, understand the statements, you name it. Yeah, just picking up as a decision tree. But also we have the NLU, where we're having the open question there. So in each moment of our conversation, when the customer clicks inside our app and finding the route where we can provide his, let's say, request, or we can provide our answers to his request, but still he can put his question over there, and based on the NLU that we build, because we train it with some historical data, the model understands exactly what is there, and he receives directly the answer, and not, walk through to the entire journey, to the entire tree, to go to that level that, okay, I found it after 10 clicks, if I can say so. Confirmation question. This is the topic which we saw that increase our, let's say, numbers in the deflection rate, because how we measure the performance of this bot, we measure like in a day, we see a volume of customers who enter in the chat, and the ones who actually finalize the discussion with us and they're happy with the answer, that we consider as a deflection rate, so it's not passed over to a human agent. What we saw with the confirmation question, an improvement of the numbers. Why? Because at some point, customers asking a question, we are providing an answer. In the core of the model, we measure like, how to say it, a trustness of understanding of the question. But we never confirm that with the customers. We just think about it. The levels are differing like 60, 70, 90% based on what he questioned to us and what the model was trained to respond on it. And based on that, we provide an answer. Maybe 80% good, 90%, 100%, 10%. It's a variation of performance. But with this confirmation question, what we did, we ensure that we understand correctly. And if you ask me, I want to block my card, and my model is not trained specifically to understand to block my card, I come back to the customer and say, hey, I understand that you want to block your card. In that moment, I'm not quite very sure, but I'm trying to make a confirmation. I understand that you want to block your card. Is it true? And in that moment, if he says yes, then I'm truly confident that I understand correctly, and this is the answer for you. Handover. What does that mean? He cannot answer all the questions, as I told you. It's almost impossible. It's a free, let's say, a world where we have millions and thousands of millions of words, of questions, us as a people. And in that moment, because being in the chat doesn't mean that if the bot cannot provide you an answer, you will finish the conversation upset, you have to go to the branch or to call to the bank. No, we're having agents which are waiting to receive customers who actually wants to discuss with us in a chat manner without voice. So he goes in a queue. When the first agent is free, he will be picked up by an agent, and he continue the discussion in the same approach as an experience. It's not needed to call it or something. You have a question?
Yeah. When is this option available to the customer? Is it available at the start of the conversation, like I want to go straight to a human agent? And how does this affect, like, if it were in the beginning of the conversation,
Yeah.
would most people go directly to the human?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or would they interact with
Yeah, we try some scenarios, and we put it at the beginning of the conversation, and we said, hey, I'm your agent, I'm a virtual assistant agent, I want to help you there. If you don't want to be helped by a human agent, you can let me know, and I will hand over to an agent. The majority of the people, guess what? Hand over me. And we route it to the agent. What we do, we take this off, we try first to understand what is exactly the need. The customers provide a question. We try to understand what is behind of that. If we cannot understand properly, like a threshold, like 60%, if I can say as a trustness, we ask them to rephrase it again. Maybe with different words we will better understand because our model is trained to different words. If we still didn't succeed to understand what he wants and we don't have a response in the model brain for that, we will tell him, sorry, I cannot understand, I'm still learning, but I will pass you to an agent. Are you fine with that? Yes or no? If the customer says yes, then he goes to the queue. So there are different approaches. The approach of having from the beginning show us that people want to discuss with a human, for sure. But we try to promote also that he can receive very good answers even if he's not a human behind, because he's trained. And by the way, he's trained with our data, what we're asking, what we're discussing in the contact center. It's not something magical behind that. No, it's a natural language. We understand, and then we're processing that particular language. Of course, we struggle it, and we want as much as possible to have feedback from the customers. I think every bank, every financial institution, every company who are making, let's say, commerce, selling products, you name it, wants to understand the customer. And one of the points of understanding the customer is to measure the customer satisfaction. Is the key. Is the key because based on this, and not only, but this is one of the factors which help us also to improve our products also for the customers. Not for us. We are using our products for sure, but the majority of usage is from the customer. So as much as better products we build for them, better experience we build for them, they will be satisfied. We want to continuously improve our journeys. We continuously improve our products. But it's also important to have your feedback. You are the, how to say it, the brain who tell us what to build. Years ago, the banks are actually building products. They're building products and they are not used. And people are asking, why they are not using them? Because you don't ask people what they want. You just build it because you think it is needed. No, you should ask what customer wants, then you start building what is needed. Well, we do this kind of things because we saw a lot of benefits. A lot of them. The majority are oriented also to automate some processes, but also valid for the customers because at the end, they are the main player in this amazing journey. Automate multiple processes. What does that mean? Based on what actually the customers are asking, we saw that we should bring more involvement in the digital environment, where we should bring more digitalized processes. Simple example, let's see that in our data from the last month, we saw that half of the requirements in the contact center is related to blocking my debit card. This is a question mark for the bank? No, this is the next action that they should have in the mobile banking application, a process on which customers can block himself a credit card. Based on what you want, then we should go other way around and have a process to actually do that. Unlimited 24/7 customer service. It's extremely important. I think for the majority of this room, and also personally I have that issue, there are moments when, let's say it's 11 p.m. or 12 p.m., we go out from a restaurant or we should pay the bill, and we see that we cannot put money from the saving account to the current account. It doesn't work. The app doesn't work. We open it, the transactions are blocked. Guess what? You want to discuss with somebody. Hey, bank, help me. Yeah? At that moment, I think 95% of the contact center agents are sleeping. Quite sure. Your personal RM is sleeping. But the bot is not sleeping. Because guess what? He's not a human. Yeah? You enter your app, you open your support channel, and you ask him, what can you do for me to unblock this situation? If we're having a digital process, we will recommend you to do the steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you name it, doesn't matter. If I really need to discuss with somebody, for sure I will not be able because they are sleeping, but what I can do for you, I can take this ticket or question from your side, and early in the morning when first agent is available, he will get back to you in the chat channel, not calling you because you prefer this option, and he will see the conversation when he goes to the office for the moment that you let it in the chat. And he can provide you support from the early morning. That's why we think 24/7 is important. Customers are never left waiting. How much of us stays more than 3, 4, 5 minutes in contact? I can raise 2 hands, honestly. All the time. Just wait. Pushing, click 1, click 2, click 3, and wait. Click again, we call you back, it's closing, Having a bot, guess what? You write it, you receive an answer. You don't need somebody to be here for you. If the issue that you currently have, it's manageable with the information that our model is trained to offer you responses. Customer engagement and omnichannel experience. We saw that we are a mobile app, let's say banking. This is how we want to approach to our customers. This is the center of the things that we are doing and building for them. Also having support, guess what? You're having the mobile app. It's in that area. You make your payments, you check your balance, you talk with us. No, you don't have to download a separate application or go to a specific web page or then go to the public website and then to start there. No, you're having in the chat and you have the same experience that you have when you build, let's say, or you create a term deposit or you want to make a payment, you name it. Multiple tasks simultaneously. Of course, because if I will be a person who will have a chat window open in 3 screens, because by the way, our agents, if they provide support to our customers on a chat, they can provide in 3 customers at a time. 3 monitors, here I'm discussing about a debit card, here I can discuss about a term deposit, and therefore a loan. It's quite hard because you need to have a good concentration, and probably having in that moment, it's a day that person is not very happy having this kind of volume, but the bot doesn't have any issue because now I ask him to block my debit card if I have this functionality, then Andrea will ask him if we have a specific offer for the loans, so it doesn't matter. Yeah? Reduced implementation costs. This is related to us because what we do, we're trying as much as possible when we build a product to scale that product to other countries. Not to reinvent the same product, but with different integrations, different layers for the other countries. For sure, what will be the difference is the language, is the culture, are the customers, but at some point, let's say 80% of the product can be reused as he was built from the beginning. This is the easiest way. A lot of benefits, a lot of, type of responses that we can provide. We saw at the beginning that we can provide answers to the FAQs. You can read it on the public website, but I can also tell you about that, so I'm fine with that. Our bots can give us support in the servicing. I don't know how to block my card. I really don't know. Even if it can tell you, click here, 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 but no, I said, make that blocking in my name. And if I have this functionality in the bot, he will block it and said, okay, I blocked it as you recommended. Why he will do that? Because I'm in an authenticated area. You recognize me as a customer, so the, let's say, phishing involvement here is extremely low, and I'm doing on your action. Of course, what each and every bank, maybe they want to implement in the journey and seeing the phishing more low, is to have a second layer of authentication. I will ask you for a PIN, I will ask you for a code, to just confirming that you are behind and you actually want to block that card. This is all from my side. I hope the timing is good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Finish good.
It's just perfect. 10 minutes for the questions.
Now, Q&As. Please. Yeah, no worries.